though, it is a metabolic disorder where we just can't process the glucose properly. So we have to figure out how to get that glucose processed. And a lot of the time that's through medication. Basically, insulin acts like a little key and it goes into the cells and it allows the glucose to get into the cell. When you have type 1 diabetes, you no longer have any keys and we got to put them into you manually. When you have type 2 diabetes, then it's like somebody changed the lock but didn't change the key. So that's kind of what's going on. So it's a little bit different of a mechanism, but it results in the same kind of thing. And so we use medications to help you process those carbohydrates. You can, if you choose to lower the amount of carbohydrates, you absolutely can do that as long as you're keeping, a moderate amount in your diet, then that's chill. I think of it like a thermostat. So let's say we've got your medications all optimized, you're feeling good, but you're noticing you're still having really significant blood sugar rises after meals and it just sticks up there and it's really frustrating. So I tell everybody it's like a thermostat. So the set point in the thermostat, whenever it gets above the temperature, the furnace shuts off, right? Same thing, we can think of it like when it gets above a certain point in this threshold, your insulin is going to shut off. So let's say your threshold, which is a very personal thing, is 45 grams of carbs. If you eat 45 grams of carbs, then it's going to rise and it's going to hit that and it's going to come right back down because the insulin is always doing its thing and it's flowing. So you'll see little bumps and things like that, but it will generally come back down pretty easily. If your threshold, if you go above it, then your insulin shuts off and it just hangs out. And then when you want to eat again, you're going to get another excursion and it's just sort of going to do this like staircase sort of thing. So our goal usually is how can we raise and lower this threshold, whether that's with medication. If you exercise a little bit more, it'll raise and you can eat more carbohydrate. If you're stressed out for that day, it's going to lower. So you may need a little bit less carbohydrate. Stress management, making sure you're getting sleep, all of those things are going to keep that nice and high so that you can eat the food that you need to eat.
I like that. It's a more holistic view. It's not, hey, here's one medicine, deal with it. It's like, how do I plan out my meals? How do I take my medication? How do I manage my stress level? How do I live a more active lifestyle? It seems like there's so many components to living a healthy lifestyle of diabetes. There's no one size fits all situation for anybody, right?
Yeah. We all have different numbers and things that we can do. And I think about this all the time. So I went to visit a friend recently, and she also has type 1 diabetes. We went to a hotel together and just had some fun. And then they had continental breakfast and there were Belgian waffles, which we are a huge fan of. So we both went, made our Belgian waffles, same thing, same batter. She gave herself insulin for 88 grams of carbohydrates. I gave myself insulin for 55 grams of carbohydrates because that's just what I just knew that's what worked for me and she knew that's what worked for her. And we both stayed steady. So it's not that waffle had like a varying amount of carbs in it necessarily. It was just that we knew what worked for our body and we had that intuition and done all that practice. It's a lot of trial and error, but you can see like our bodies are just so different and respond to like different amounts of medication and all that good stuff. So
that's perfect. And then so once you find out what your numbers are, it's kind of just like second nature. You're not even thinking about what you're doing.
Yeah, definitely.